Well, what you can see is we have a guitar in really sad shape here. The bridge popped up on this guitar, and somebody had tried amateur repair using globbing a bunch of carpenter's glue in there, and they didn't remove the bridge as they should have, and you can see there's all kinds of splinters that have popped up. Here's one that's still loose on the guitar, almost popped that thing out. And you can also see that there's still a lot of the soundboard that's attached securely to the bridge. So I chose to leave that on there because as you might be able to see, there's a lot of wood in here that's been pulled up and is missing now and is now attached to the bridge. So I'm going to go ahead and leave that wood on there because we don't want gaps, both for the strength of the joint and for the sound transference of the vibration. Because they used carpenter's glue, I had to make sure that I scraped off all of the old carpenter's glue before trying to do anything, because carpenter's glue will not stick to itself. It will not stick to old glue. I wish the guitar, the bridge, when it had come off, looked more like this. This is something that's workable. And that's the way. I haven't sanded that or done anything with it except pop the bridge off. That's the way we would hope that it would look once you pop the bridge off. Unfortunately, with this guitar, we weren't so lucky. So, rather than spend a bunch of money on tools, I've decided to make a little video here on a last-ditch effort to save this guitar. It's a Takamine G240. It can be purchased right now for approximately $120, $150, something like that. Used, that is. I paid 20 bucks for this one because when I got it, the bridge was popped up. I don't know if you can see that, but that's quite an angle there. It was popped up about like that. Just about like that. Really popped up at quite an angle. And that was the best I could do when it came time to cleaning the whole thing up. So we're going to see what happens next with my homemade bridge clamp. That's going to be the next part of this video. Well, here is my super duper little homemade bridge clamp. As you can see, a bridge and a piece of old oak flooring, a little bit wider than the bridge. And I've traced myself an outline of the bridge on the oak. Drilled holes for the outer two string pins there, bridge pins, for these bolts, which will be actually bolted through the guitar. And you will reach these wing nuts through the sound hole. Now you'll notice that there's little washers on the end on there, about the size of a penny or so, and that's about as big as you can get because of the bracing, and that's all you need anyway, because of the bracing on the inside of the guitar. Now what I've got here on the perimeter here, on the outriggers here, are just screws, wood screws, that will hold down the wings of the bridge once it gets clamped on there, once it gets through clamped on there. Between the points of the screws and the bridge, I will place a little knockout slug that came off of an electrical box. And it doesn't have any rim around it like a penny does. You could just, what I tried first was a penny, but a penny has a ridge around it. And you'd have to file off that ridge so that it's smooth, so that it doesn't scar up your bridge. couple other small details here before we get to gluing. You can see around the burr for the spread out of the glue. But one other thing I wanted to mention on all these surfaces, I hope you can see there that what I've taken is I've taken a razor knife and scored the bare surfaces of both the bridge and any little areas here that have been remotely shiny or anything. I've scraped off all the finish. You got to make sure there's nothing in here. No old glue, no finish, no nothing. And we'll go ahead and get to the glue in here. And then one more thing on you'll notice that this bridge has a couple of alignment pins in the bridge. Not all bridges are like that. If you don't have these little alignment pins, and you can see the holes for those right here and right up here, then you have to take a couple of your bridge pins and cut them off level so the clamp will clamp down on them, and those bridge pins will be your alignment pins to keep this thing in its proper place. Well, everything looks all clamped up and ready to go. Let's see if I can see those little slugs down there that are protecting the bridge. There we go. Those little are protecting the bridge. And you can see I've got a pretty good fillet of glue around the edges, and I left it like that purposely rather than wiping it clean, because that glue shrinks up, and I want that to be kind of like a little reservoir around the edge of the bridge so that it can draw on that little pool of glue there as it dries, and hopefully we'll have a tight edge. But we'll just, oh yeah, and that's, as you can see there's that tight bond, the original wood glue, not the waterproof stuff. This is just the old stuff, and we'll have to hope that that's an acceptable substitute for hide glue, because I was not able to purchase any hide glue locally, and this tight bond is an acceptable substitute, but I wanted to give that hide glue a try and was unable to, so we shall see. Well, here's what we got. Doesn't look too bad. A real wouldn't be glue job, but got a little extra spreading around, but the back looks pretty good. Now, what's the next step? Next step is to see what happens with the bridge pins. Well, it doesn't go in there, and that's because there's a bunch of glue that got squished out into those holes, which is what I wanted, because I want as much glue, all those damaged wood fibers, as I can get. So you'll notice that the bridge pin has a very slight taper to it. There's a tool called a reamer that is made specifically for this job with the same angle of taper, and it's a $60 tool. So what I have is a pilot bit here that also has a slight taper to it, something I had on hand, maybe not that different from the bridge pin, and we're going to clean out the glue a little bit here. Okay, there's what we got. You don't want to remove any wood, just the glue. So I'm going to go ahead and do these on the rest of the bridge pin holes here, because they're all going to need a little bit of that same action there to clean out those glue. And then we're going to string her up and see what happens.